This week I'm giving you 7 sales boosting website design tips that you can implement right now. Hi, my name is Matt Ackerson. I'm the founder of Pedovera, and this week I'm giving you 7 tips that you can incorporate into your website design or your website sales funnel that are going to help you grow your business. All right, so basically what gave me the idea for this article was the thought that if you're not making sales, then you don't really have a business. And I come across a lot of entrepreneurs who they have traffic or they know all the basics, but they're just not executing. They're just not able to either execute or to figure out, what are the missing steps that they need to take in order to produce sales from their online marketing activities. Because that's really the holy grail. I mean, you can hustle, you can go to networking events, you can ask your friends and family for referrals, how much fun that is, right? But ultimately, what we want is a sustainable sales engine, which I actually put together a whole course on, and a system that consistently drives us leads, which brings us to your sales funnel. So that's what my tips are about today. So tip number 1 is you want to ghetto hack as I call it. Don't you love that phrase? Ghetto hack your sales funnel to start, and lack of a marketing budget is not an excuse. So this past Sunday, I actually was helping a friend to put together a simple sales funnel for his website, because he has literally 70,000 visitors coming to his site every single month, but he's really not making any sales as a result of all this, despite having all this traffic. So what we did was this past Sunday, we sat down and I coached him on what he needed to do. And it basically came down to this. We went through about 5 simple steps, and you can do the same thing if you have a similar problem. So we created a free offer landing page. Now that's incentivizing people to get on your email list. And we actually didn't even end up using that, but it's still a great asset that you really need to have as part of your overall sales funnel, and as part of your overall website design. Because most people who come to your website, they're not ready to buy in the first time that they arrive. So this gives you the opportunity to follow up with them later on, educate them, and make an offer, and just kind of continue that relationship. Number 2, we put together a landing page for a $19 ebook. We set up a payment processing account and hooked that up to a Woohoo form. My friend also had a small email list of past clients and colleagues, so we imported that into the email marketing software that we were using, and we created an educational newsletter just to blast out to this list. And we went ahead, we hit send. We hadn't really done any nurturing, so I didn't expect the conversion rate to be particularly high, and it wasn't. But the important thing was that we made sales, and we made sales almost immediately. So that was the good news, and part of the point of the exercise too, in ghetto hacking this, just kind of piecing the sales funnel together really quickly, was to give my friend the confidence. In this case, I want to give you confidence, which is why I recommend it, so that he could take those next critical steps and actually see that it was working right away. So tip number 2, it's not just the landing page stupid, it's how they get there. The stupid expression is not directed towards you. Hope I haven't offended anyone with that. It kind of comes from this other line. I think it's from politics. It's the economy stupid. Anyway, I digress. You want to think about, so let's say that, so this is our sales page for the Build Sales Engine course. And this is where we basically direct people to, usually after they've gone through one of our free courses. And if we were just directing people to this without that follow-up, our conversion rate would be horrible. It might even be non-existent. If it was a price point of, say, $19 or lower, it's sure, it's possible, to definitely convert some of that cold traffic, but generally speaking, you want to be thinking about, the source of the traffic, how they're actually getting to your offers. Because if you're just trying to generate lead, if you're just expecting people to arrive on your site and make that giant leap to buying something right away, it's a little naive, or perhaps not naive, because I used to think that it's just a common mistake that you want to avoid. So you want to think of it as a multi-step process, right? You get the traffic, people get on to your email list, you educate them, follow up, follow up, follow up, and then you make the offer and you send them to your sales page. So how they actually get to your sales page, that's the key point that you want to think about. What happens before that? You want to give them useful, actionable, educational info on that is about your products and services or directly related to the value that you can provide through your products and services. Tip number 3, make it easier to buy your product or service. And in this tip on the page here, I'm not going to go through every single bullet point completely because I want to keep this video brief for you. But I give the example of Russell Brunson, how in his studies, he actually found that by offering a too easy payment option in response to people that are about to exit a page for, say, a $97 offer, that usually saw an increase in conversion rate between 15 and 20%. And I actually just recently went ahead and I implemented this within our own sales funnel. So I don't have numbers to share with you yet on that, but I do plan to in the future. So make sure to subscribe to our newsletter so you can get that information when we come out with it. Okay, so going off of that tip, kind of taking what I learned from studying Russell's own funnel and recommendation, we get into tip 4, which is copy what is already working for others and make it your own. So what does that mean? Well, I'm kind of reminded of the quote from Picasso where he says, "Good artists copy, great artists steal." And I didn't really understand this quote until recently, as I was kind of just learning more about marketing these past couple of years. And what I came to realize about this quote was not that he meant, literally steal from your competitors or from, the generation that's come before you, but rather study what has worked for other people and take that knowledge and incorporate it into your own work, but make it your own, do it in your own style, right? And actually build upon that knowledge, keep learning and keep testing new ideas on top of that foundation that other people have already given you. And so another example of how I actually went ahead and did this was with Brendan, I'm not sure how to say his last name, Brendan Burchard. He's a motivational speaker and performance coach. And he basically recommended that in order for a sale to occur, generally speaking, you need to answer 6 basic questions. If you want to see what those 6 questions are, you can go to the sales page and you'll see them right at the top in the navigation for the Build Sales Engine course. But what I did was I took those questions and I rewrote our entire sales page around them because I figured, hey, our current page isn't converting as well as I would like. Let's try this model instead. And that, combined with taking what I learned from other people like Brendan Dunn and also studying other sites like Amazon's checkout process, we've been able to actually double our conversion rate for our Build Sales Engine course. Tip number 5, use step-based analysis to spot weak points in the process. So I don't really know if anyone else has actually ever given a name to this, but I think it's probably one of the most practical things I would recommend to anyone who is a marketer, or if you're a small business owner, you're just kind of learning to do this yourself. It is beyond practical. Okay, so this is what it is, step-based analysis. It's kind of an engineer's approach to getting sales results. So you kind of can imagine your funnel, or if you already have the measurement mechanism set up in place like Google Analytics and goals within Google Analytics, you want to visualize your funnel and you want to imagine that it's, the visitors coming through it are like water, right? And for some reason, the water is leaking at each step in the funnel. Your goal is to get ideally 100% of the water to come out that you put in the top to come out at the bottom, right? And what this helps you to identify is the points where that drop off or that spillage or leakage, whatever you want to call it, is greatest. So if this example on the screen right here, where it shows you the sales page, the checkout page, and then ultimately people proceeding from checkout to the purchase page, or rather the purchase confirmation page, which would be like a thank you page, we can see pretty clearly that by comparing the numbers, okay, from the checkout page to the purchase page, it's a pretty darn good conversion rate right now. I mean, compare that to a 66% conversion rate compared to a 4.9% conversion rate. When we got most of our traffic kind of stuck at that first step, it's pretty clear that something is not working with the sales page at the top of the funnel there. So that's really where you want to be making, that's really where you want to put your focus in the short term. You want to develop that page, you want to tweak it, and I give you some ideas for how you might want to actually do that in the actual text of the article. So tip number 6, micro A/B testing. Have conversations with your customers. So I actually wrote a complete guide on this process in the past, and I linked to it here under tip number 6 if you want to check it out. But the basic idea is that there's a process to doing micro A/B testing, but generally speaking, just kind of constantly having that back and forth conversation with potential customers as well as existing customers, you're going to be able to make a lot of connections in your head about, you know, what language, what sales copy is missing from the key pages on your website and your sales funnel. Okay, so you can, with people who've already bought from you, you can listen and understand. Listening, very important. You can listen and understand what were the key benefits that they received that they're most happy about as a result of purchasing, and you can kind of take those little nuggets of information and move them, you know, perhaps to the top, you know, to your home page or to, you know, your key sales page in the funnel. And for would-be customers who have objections, you can kind of incorporate those objections directly into the sales copy on your page, perhaps in an FAQ section, or even just kind of have it be its own section to itself, where you'd have the bold heading of that section, you know, be, you know, how does the 30-day money back guarantee work? Maybe that's a question or a common objection, but you get what I'm talking about here. So tip number 7, the final tip: withhold pricing, give it its own landing page, charge the cost of an email address to get access. So this one is much more tactical than it is strategic, at least in the title. But the idea is that you have an advantage. Not that you have an advantage, but you are, I don't want to put you in opposition to the customer's interest, because I think that's kind of the wrong way to approach it. So let me phrase it like this. You are more likely to convert a prospect into a customer or a client if you first focus them on or require them to understand what are the key benefits that you have to offer, and such as, you know, what is your unique selling proposition, you know, what makes you different from competitors, et cetera, et cetera. And that way they can then decide, okay, do I want to proceed to the next step, you know, by putting in my contact information in order to get access to the pricing on the following page, or in an automated follow-up email. So, because that's going to help you just overcome that much more buyer resistance, because instead of just seeing a number on a page, people are going to see, they're not going to see a number, they're going to be able to make a more informed decision based on the value that they will receive, and how that actually correlates or relates to the price point that you set. Okay, so in conclusion, if you want, I actually put together a great list of tools. It's my personal list that I recommend that will make it easier for you to sell, for you to set up your own sales funnel. It's going to save you a lot of time. And the top 10 tools that I recommend in this free report, which you can download if you're on YouTube, you can click to the right. There's a big button, it should be over there, rather your left. And if you're on the site, just scroll down until you see the yellow box that says free bonus download, and you can download that PDF right now. This is going to save you a lot of time. It's tools that I use personally pretty much every single day to grow and market our business here at Pedovera, and I think that you'll benefit greatly from them. So check that out, and I will see you next week. Take care. Oh, and something else I want to add. We're in 2 weeks from, almost 2 weeks from today, we were putting on a webinar that called Fix Your Funnel. And it's all about, it's focused primarily on, at least this one is focused on the bottom stage of your funnel. So we're going to go over more tips and how-tos specifically related to helping you to increase your purchase rate on your website. So for example, if you're stuck, I was talking to one person today, she has an e-commerce shop. She's not sure, why are her apparel pieces not selling. Took a look at her website. I got some great ideas. So I'm actually going to be reviewing people's individual websites at the very end. So you're welcome to submit your site for personal review at the very end, and I'll try to get through as many as possible, spend about 5 minutes on each, and I think you'll get a lot of benefit from it. It's going to be about 60 minutes to an hour and a half long, and it's coming up on Wednesday, October 29th. So if you want to get access to that, just click on the pedovera.com website, navigation under the free section, hover over that, and you should see a drop down where it says webinar, and you can opt in to hear about that and get notifications about the event coming up instantly. Okay? All right, thanks a lot. I'll see you soon.